nimetoka. Ay, 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 ay. Kushukuru mimi sitachoka. Ay, 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 ay.
Hey guys, welcome to this episode of the Nook by the Joyride. This is part of the new shows that we've launched. I'm sure you've checked out the Den. I'm sure you've checked out the couple show that we launched. And we're so excited. I'm excited to be doing this. I have amazing women here with me. It's an exciting time. And I'm ready to dive into the conversation. But before that, a special thanks to everyone who joined us at Kabarak. We had such a great time. Special thanks to Yellow Card, Dairyland, and Nation Media Group. We had a blast. So keep following us on our social media handles so that you can find out which university or which event we have coming up next. I'll deep dive into our guests right now. I'm so excited for you ladies. How are you guys feeling?
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
All right. So I'll introduce you guys. Do you prefer I introduce or you introduce? What's easier for you guys?
I don't know. I want to hear how you
I want to hear.
Go for it.
So much pressure.
How much do you know me?
No. So much pressure. But here we have Coco. I've known Coco for a while. I think we met in 2019.
Gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's doing amazing things in the influencer space as an influencer whisperer. Yeah.
Thank you.
So glad to have you here. And then we have Lydia KM of the TMI podcast. You guys are doing amazing and an all-round amazing human being. I think we've met. This is the second time.
Yeah.
We met once in Karen, I think.
Well,
we bumped into each other. I think so. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But we've had a vibe on Instagram.
Yeah.
Instagram friends turned to real life.
I feel like you know someone from online. You feel like you know them the more you chat.
Yeah.
But they're doing also amazing things. Thank you for coming. And then Clare, thank you so much for joining us. She's also a host on NTV, Pishi Bomba, and also a content creator.
Great.
Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. So are we ready for the conversation?
Yes.
Yeah. Did I do justice with those intros?
You
tried.
did perfect.
Okay.
You did
Anything I
perfect.
missed? No. No, I did. Okay. Good. So the rules of the game are we're going to play the Joyride. And so I will pass this round. I will give you guys the honors to start.
Okay.
So we pick a question and then all of us answer. Okay.
Yeah.
So feel free, get comfortable. It's going to be a fun time. So who do I start with? Coco, you're next. You're right next to me.
Thank you.
All right. So you can pick and then we can pass, but we don't open until it's your turn.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, there's another one here that looks
No,
huge.
no. I saw one when Barack was catching it. It was really huge.
Yeah. Do I open mine now?
Sorry? Yeah, you can.
I can?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just going to place this down here.
No problem. I'll pick mine after we are all done.
Oh,
Okay.
A
So
topic. Okay.
I wanted like the conversation to give direction, but
Okay.
our conversation for today is why are weddings so important to us, or are they? So we are unraveling the role of weddings in women's socialization, traditions, expectations, and identity.
Right.
Okay.
Fun.
All right.
Thank you.
Coco, you go first.
Okay. Should I say the number of the question?
Yeah, you
Or
can.
no?
Yeah.
This is 10.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect wedding song. If weddings aren't important stroke significant for you, answer the question as if you were a guest at a wedding. Rank them in order of importance. Like, I'm Ben today. I have not understood a thing.
Read that question again.
If weddings aren't important
Right.
stroke significant for you, answer the question as if you were a guest at a wedding. Rank them in order of importance. So I'm guessing we should say our perfect wedding song. And if a wedding is not important for you, if you were a guest at a wedding, what would be the perfect wedding song?
Wedding song. Is that what the question is? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then rank them in order of importance is what I don't understand. Okay.
So we ignore that. We don't rank them.
Okay.
I need that question again.
Woo! Perfect wedding song.
I think can we start by saying if weddings are important to us? So then maybe you can tell us if a wedding is important to you, what would be your theme song? Have you thought about weddings?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I have thought about my wedding. I don't overindulge in the thought of my wedding. I do know that I want it. I think it's a beautiful tradition that I would love to, be part of and experience someday in my life. And have I thought about the song? Yes. But it keeps on changing. Like every time I see another wedding, I'm like, that song is so beautiful.
It's so beautiful. Yeah.
So for a long time, I thought it was sunny days. Everybody knows them. Tell me, baby, can
Okay.
you?
Okay. I'm with you now. I was not with you at the beginning.
That's the part to start.
The one. That's the part you should
So
have
for the
started with.
longest, you thought that was
It was
the
that
song.
And then one day I watched a TikTok and then it seemed like a worship session and everyone had their hand lifted towards the couple.
Oh, wow.
And they were singing this song. For some reason I don't know the titles. The song that goes may your favor be upon.
I think it's called
I don't know.
Blessings.
Yeah,
Blessings.
Blessings.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really beautiful. So for now, those are the two. I'm open to change.
Okay.
Yeah.
Acknowledging the fact that I will not be the only one at the wedding, so I might have to take someone else's opinion too.
Lydia?
So marriage is important to me.
Okay.
And I guess I can't have one without the
other.
other. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's just, a wedding feels like more is like the crossover,
Like a
the
gateway-ish.
celebration. Exactly. A
Yeah.
gateway, like the marking of the marriage, because
Yeah.
marriage to me is important. But weddings is like, you know how people know like the dress, the flowers,
Yeah.
I feel like those things are just kind of, can we just pass?
Yeah.
You know? But what I do think about all the time pertaining my wedding is the feeling, like how I'll feel. You know, I always want to feel sure that I'm doing the right thing.
Right.
I think about the feeling of walking down and how I'll feel when I see my man. Hurry up, by the way. So yeah, I think about more of the feeling and the
feeling.
quality of the relationship you have,
As
more
opposed
than
to everything
all
else.
of that. I also
Okay.
want a small wedding. I don't want
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
you know, my uncles who cast shows, neighbors,
Like 1,000
I want
plus
people
people,
who
yeah.
have a, you know, like a story with
Yeah.
us. So, but my wedding song, and it's because it's my favorite song ever, is "At Last" by Etta James.
Oh, okay. That's
So,
a
and
beautiful
also
one.
it also makes sense for "At Last" to be, you know, because I've not been
song.
married before.
Yeah.
So then "At Last" to be the song for my wedding. I think that's it. And I feel like if you're a guest at my wedding, you're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. You're just
It's
going
gonna
to
be
love
beautiful.
It. Yeah, it's gonna be gorgeous. I know.
What about you, Claire?
I'm
Perfect
with
wedding
Lydia
song.
on not thinking about it. Let me tell you why. I have never sat down. You know how they say when you're a girl, all you dream about is a wedding,
Yes.
and you think about your wedding dress.
Yeah.
Not once has any of those thoughts crossed my mind. And then I guess because of the fact that I had a bad experience when it came to a traditional ceremony, so then that completely just changed my thoughts on weddings
yeah.
and how it's supposed to look. So just to give context on the bad experience, the Rora show that I had when I was around 24 years old, the person that I was with in that moment, right, in time, the night before the Rora show told me that we're going to look at tomorrow like what is it called? A business exchange. So for me, it's not going to be anything much. That's because we'd gotten into an argument. So the night before, all I did was cried. And then the morning after, he was late. And so was a family late. So
Like
for me,
significantly late.
significantly late. So for
No
me,
apologies, no
communication.
no apologies, no communication. So for me, that experience completely also just took away my
Yeah.
expectations of what this wedding ceremony and the
Oh,
joy
yeah.
and the feeling.
I'm
and
sorry.
so for me, no, it's fine. And so for the second person compensated back because the night before this Rora show that I had, he called me and he said, "I'm coming to pick you up because I know that you had a bad experience with your last Rora show. So what I'll do is I'll pick you up and just make it better for you." And so we did. And so for me, that thought of marriage, I mean, marriage, I do agree with you. I'm 100% up
Yeah.
for marriage. But the idea of weddings has just never been my thing.
Yeah.
I did want to go to the AG,
Yeah.
just finish that up. But then I started realizing that weddings are for the family.
Yeah.
They're for the family, so
Don't
just
try to
do,
do it.
yeah, so just do it.
Yeah.
I tried to talk to my parents about it, and they said no.
Yeah.
We just need to do the proper way.
Yeah.
So for me, I didn't have a song. I still don't have a song. I picked my song for the Rora show the night before. still haven't thought about the song for the wedding.
Yeah.
And I just don't have that.
I think for thinking about my experience also, I didn't actively think about like a wedding song.
Right.
I think for me, the wedding season, like I had so many issues in my mind, and they were mainly coming from a place of like so much uncertainty, because this was something so new to me. I'd lived sheltered pretty much all my life, lived with my parents. My parents, they had done a good job sheltering me. So, and then you're telling me like I'm gonna go live off with this man for the rest of my life. So a lot was going through my mind. So I didn't have time to process like perfect. I never had that saved up. Like I think I started figuring out what I want to wear during the wedding process, like things that I want. Like I was never those girls who have like Pinterest boards of like what their wedding looks like. So I think even the song that I walked down the aisle with, I think I stumbled it like during that wedding process again, and it was Ethan Muziki's Kesha Kutu, and I was like, I sent Ben, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a really good song. So when the wedding coordinator was asking me, so which song do you want to walk down the aisle with, like a few days to the wedding, I was like, oh, there's this song I had told Ben about. I think that's the one we're going to use, and that's how I ended up with like my wedding song.
So this is the song that you would walk down the aisle to, because the one I selected was First Dance.
Mine was First Dance as well. Yeah.
Walking down the aisle, I have no idea.
That one I don't think. I'll just walk down to something simple. Like no, I don't even want words. I just want there to be music so that I am the words. Me walking down.
I am the song. But okay, for me, I didn't have a fast dance, so I didn't even think about a fast dance. I didn't have a fast dance. Can you imagine? We just did the whole, the way Kenyan weddings are. We dance, we cut the cake, then we went to like an after party. So really didn't have,
even
like,
me too. I think of the first
dance
as well.
All right, so we'll go to the next question.
Okay.
This is difficult.
It's not so bad.
It's difficult to sit with it like this without trying to open it. Like every time I keep unrolling it, I have to keep rolling it back.
But first question wasn't so bad, right?
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Sweet.
So it says A, B, C, D. So I'll just read it from there.
We can do A first then.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. In your ideal world, what role would you / did you want your spouse playing at your wedding?
That means like you knew them before?
No, as in
for your wedding, like
isn't it like are they proactive in the planning?
Yeah.
Right.
In the planning.
Yeah.
So what role did I want my spouse? I think actively involved from the jump. Like the wedding is not, I didn't view the wedding as my wedding. It was our wedding.
Yeah.
And if we were going to do this together, I needed you to be involved from the jump.
Yeah.
Which he was, luckily.
I think I'm trying to think of also my personality. I have a very big and opinionated big mouth. And so I hope that the guy that I will, end up marrying will also have a personality that I don't feel the need to constantly like
push you.
Push him to talk, or like my personality overpowers him.
Right.
So someone who, when he says something, I'm able to listen. Someone who cools me down.
Right.
Because also I'm not looking for this.
Yeah.
I'm also not attracted to my type of personality, but I definitely want a guy who is in his power and understands that and sits in that chair very well. And so I would want him to be actively present, not just the financer, not just the figure it out and then let me know.
I'll show up at the wedding.
No, you decide. I would want it to be very collaborative. Where he shows up and probably he had a say in the playlist that plays, and maybe even the communicating of what his strengths are so that I can, fill that up. Probably he has no idea about flowers, but I can ask him, do you like the yellow or the red? Or he likes music more or has, experience putting together playlists more. I would kind of give him more veto there. But I would definitely want him to be in the process, because that also sets the tone in how we're going to go about our marriage. Raising kids, I would want that.
I agree. I guess I would want the same thing as well. Because of our conditioning, I guess as women, I feel like almost naturally you lean in a bit more because of, like, I don't know why, but why we're having
Yeah.
this conversation. Women, I guess, are more conditioned around those kind of things, but it doesn't always happen that way.
Yeah.
So you find that you lean in more. But I would like somebody who, I want you to care about it, right? I want you to care about it, to be involved, like to be passionate about like what we are doing. And if you're not as excited, because I can't make you, because maybe you're just not
the
thinking
same,
that way, I would want support.
Yeah.
You know, so even if you're not going to be here like screaming about the dress or your suit or whatever, I would like to feel like supported. Like I know that you're there if I need anything, whether it's driving me here or doing this or helping with errands. I would like that support for sure.
For sure, yeah. What about you, Claire?
That's like in the thick of things. I was like, yo. No, the reason I guess exclaiming is because expectations versus reality are very different.
Okay.
Completely different. I expected, and not only did I expect, I communicated my expectations to the person that I was marrying, aka Barack, in the best way possible of what it is that I would like the Rora show to look like, of the role that I would like him to play. And it doesn't often go the way you want it to go, because you see, you then realize that, you know what, as much as it's our day, I think I'm enjoying this planning process a lot more than he is. And he's happy when I'm happy. So for me, it's like, yes, he was there to support the what he was strong in terms of like communicating with everybody, the vendors, and making sure things are running and planning strategy. You know how good he is with that. Like he handled that. But everything else, it was
like the details.
Me.
Of
it was me who did it.
But that was okay also.
It
like
was
the
also
balance.
Okay.
Was okay.
I don't mind that.
It was
and
very
also
okay.
maybe less arguments.
A lot,
right?
less, a lot. And I
Like, I'll
learned
do
that
this.
exactly. I learned that way on in our relationship, where it's just like, okay, if I want something this specific way, let me just get it done. And then let me not expect, because Barak and I are completely different. So let me not expect Barak to be this excited about this Rora show as much as I am.
You are.
And I express. Barak doesn't. So then it can get me completely irritated and frustrated, expecting him to carry or think about this wedding or Rora show like I'm doing. Yeah.
I loved what you said. Communication.
Right.
So from the get, did each of you know what your roles were?
No.
So you had to talk it out.
We had to talk it out. So we sat down, and at first I was upset. Like you know, she said, I was like, I feel like you're not into this. You're not even excited about this Rora show. You know, and he sat down and he asked me, what is it that you'd like me to do better? And so I told him I would like to feel like you're involved in this. And half of the time, I don't know, maybe the men can tell us, they aren't as excited as we are about the Rora show. So it's not fair to expect them to be. So then so then we did end up talking about it, and I asked him, I would like you to do this, of which some things he did fall short on doing, but I still constantly reminded him, like, hey, did you do this? And then he'd be like, I did this. And then eventually it became easy, because then we formed a group, and then he would just dump whatever thing that he's done onto the group, like, done this, check. Just the two of us. Just the two of us. So then Barak opened the group, Rora show planning, you know? It was just the two of us. So then that way we know whatever roles that we both had, we've both, you know, accomplished them, done them, so that we don't have to bicker every time something's not done. Right.
This sounds stressful.
It can be.
If it depends with who you're doing it with.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because I remember in my process, now that she was speaking about you as Claire, Ben really didn't understand what was going on. I remember him saying that he showed up at the wedding and he was so shocked at the decor.
How beautiful it was.
Yeah, and I'm like, you were in. We even went, like, you know, when suppliers give you that mock-up of like how Ben was like, wow, this is what we paid for.
Right.
He had no idea.
He attended every single meeting. I don't know if I should say this, but I'm not like hung up on it. Like my first dress fitting, Ben was the one who took me to it.
Yeah.
And like he didn't understand like there's that, I don't know if it's a taboo, I don't believe in it. But he didn't understand that it happened, but he was so supportive the entire way, even though he didn't understand what was happening.
I'll
Like
take that.
He was like, I'll show up. I don't know what's happening, but I'll show up. Yeah. Next question. Question B, Lydia.
Oh, wow.
It had B.
I have 4.
She's pulled it up already. She's done.
Do you think it's fair to say that a wedding day is the bride's day?
Girl, no.
No.
No, for me.
It's not fair to say that. But do we say that and do we believe that? Yes.
Yeah.
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 But
Can
I don't
I
even.
just say something?
As
Yeah.
in, maybe I would say as a stereotype.
Right.
That's what's expected.
Yeah.
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 Like what people think it's like the bride's. I think that's why there's even more emphasis placed on the bride and
Yeah.
like how you will look, like all the
Yeah.
attention
Even
is
the
on
guy
the bride.
doesn't, when he walks down the aisle,
Yeah,
no
no one
one
cares.
cares. Everyone is sat down on their phones.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I thought the guy he gets to the venue, goes to stand there. I never thought he had a moment where he walks.
walks
but
and
no
I was
one
like,
He
stands
does.
up.
Some
He
do.
does. He does. Or some just show up and like they're at the end of the aisle, so
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah.
waiting for. But
Seriously,
the bride
no
is
one
like you have
even
to
looks-
stand up,
Stand up, there's music. It's like, this is the moment. That's,
yeah.
yeah.
But Claire, you
I
wanted to say something, yeah.
think I don't know how this will be perceived, but weddings started when? I don't even know. In England somewhere.
The white wedding.
The 1980s. Yeah, the white wedding started then. And it's a tradition that women, wear the white, walk down the aisle, but you're saying, nobody pays attention to what the man is wearing, what happens when the
looks
bride
like.
is getting in, everybody going to stand up, and it's like the bride and
It's like tears, the cameras
exactly.
are out.
And then even when they say you may kiss the bride, it's not like Kwani the man is a prop. You know what I mean? Like he's also kissing.
Yeah.
But for me, I feel like it's a rite of passage, like you said. Like the wedding is a rite of passage. It's important for a woman.
Yeah.
The whole wedding, more than it is for a man. If I put it into context, I think that women, this is what I was scared of saying, women love the attention. And when I say attention, I don't mean like in the clout type of way, which, would say attention, I'm seeking attention, but it's the validation, the feeling of I belong to a family now, the feeling that I am worth of being a bride. And so this day will be my day.
That's
You understand
for
what I
one
mean?
day.
It's for one day.
For one day,
Exactly.
every eye is on me.
Exactly. Every single eye is on me. So yes, it is important. If I look at I'm from the Christian faith, so I believe that when you find, even the Bible says, when you find a bride, you find a good thing, which is emphasis on the bride, making it a big day for the bride, making it the day for the bride. And when I talk about Christianity, they say, I'm trying to remember my scripture. they say that a maid does not forget the ornament, a bride does not forget the attire, but so many of the days that you've forgotten me. But not only that, even in Revelations it says how when Christ comes, he's coming back for his bride, which just goes to show the emphasis on what God sees a woman bride to be. Because when he's talking about he's coming back for the bride, he's coming back for his people, he's coming back for his church. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the word that he uses is
a bride.
his bride. He
Yeah.
doesn't use a groom. He doesn't use a groomsman. He uses a bride. So of course it's going to be an important day. And yes, it is, and it should be the day for
Of
the
the
bride.
bride.
Yeah,
So I think it's fair.
it's fair.
Yeah.
To say
It's
it, yeah.
absolutely fair.
Okay.
It's
What do you
absolutely
feel?
fair.
Feel free.
I agree. I agree
Yeah.
with everything you said.
Right.
And I agree that also I feel like it's something that we've grown up being taught. But I would really, really, really love to share it
With
the
your
other
person.
with my person. And as much as possible, also push him to feel special on that day as well. Because again, all these people are coming and they're coming to see the bride.
Yeah.
But I feel like it would also be my responsibility to make sure he understands that it's our day.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
our day, shine.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like also him being part of the planning, it moves it away from him feeling like, okay, so she put it together. It's your day, boo. I'll just show up and put a ring on it and pay for it
Yeah.
and whatever. But as he's involved in the process, then he feels like it's his day too.
Yeah. I feel like it's not fair because that I would like to live in a world where there's more balance and there's not so much emphasis on like, you know, women getting married. Further to your point, there's so much conditioning around the value of a woman once she's married. I mean, literally, it's where a lot of people, when they introduce themselves, you hear them say wife, even on people's bio, and there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. It's wife, mom, whatever. Find me 3 right now who say husband. Find me 3 who say husband. Do you have husband?
He doesn't have
You
husband.
don't.
Do you have wife?
No, I don't
No,
have
you
wife.
don't. Okay, at least that's fair. But yeah, there's a lot of value, you know, that comes with being married and being a wife. There's still some that's like a man is seen to be responsible once he's like married. And he has a family, but there's so much more on this end. You know, it's like finally you have reached the Mecca that we've all been told to get to. So even from there, how wedding started, it's like, if a woman wasn't married after a certain point, it's like you are in the dustbin, like your value just starts depreciating.
It goes down.
So the celebration was like, this is a really big deal. I've reached where we've all been promised to get to. So I see why there's a lot of emphasis, but it would be amazing to live in a world where there's more balance, where marriage is important to, as important to both men and women, and it's seen more as like, this is an amazing thing for these 2 people to do, not like, wow, she's so lucky that she got someone. You know, to hold on to.
I think it's not fair, and I think even when I look back at our process, like I feel like Ben took it more of his day, because I think for me, again, to what I was saying earlier, like there were a lot of issues going on in my mind. Like I was just thinking about the future, like what the heck did I get myself into? For him, he was more present. He was enjoying, like he knew what this meant to him, and so in that sense, I feel like he also took it as his day. And like I think seeing him enjoy and embrace the day and take it like it's not Shiro's day, it's also my day, helped me embrace that day more. And I was like, I want to meet you where you also are, if that makes sense.
It does.
I'd be curious to hear what the men say.
In
Terms of if it's fair to say that it's the bride's day or the groom's day. I'd be very curious to hear what they say.
See, you've got a composition.
Right? See, do you think your decision making should hold more weight during the wedding planning, or did your decision making hold? Oh, right. Okay. So if you've been married, did your decision making hold more weight during the wedding planning? And if you're not, do you think your decision making should hold more weight during mine as in the woman? Should it hold more weight?
I think
Decision making in regards
like
to the
for
wedding.
the wedding
basically,
process.
if it's you and your man, should yours hold
Because
more
you're the
weight?
bride, should it hold more weight?
Well, I guess you'd say yes.
I mean, no. Oh, are you guys waiting for me to answer?
Yeah,
I know
that's
you were
all right.
thinking.
You can start.
Should
I don't know why
It's okay.
I can start.
Yeah,
like
please.
for me, I found like different things held more weight. So like in terms of decor, I would care more about how it looks. So I got the bigger decision. Like in terms of guests, we were equal, say. Like I would want you to feel like you've invited as many people as you want, and I would want the same. So I wouldn't want you to feel like, because I feel like it's my day as well, like I get more say. So it depended on what matters to someone more.
Yeah.
I would ideally I would prefer to have a partner who is not stubborn about like the color palette, you know? Like I don't want to be beefy about something like that.
Or like the flowers.
Yes, but I don't think that just because I guess I'm saying it's like a bride's day or whatever, that I hold more weight, and especially to things that matter to him, because if majority of the times men aren't really that invested or they're not that passionate, there's one thing that he cares about. I would like it to be balanced for sure.
I agree.
So would I. I think Barak had a lot of say in our Aurora show, including walking in with cows. That was his idea. It was his idea. It was his idea. It was all his idea. So,
For you, Coco?
I think it's subjective per item, like as you said. It depends on the area of strength of each person and what the weight at which it's important to them.
Last one. If your spouse felt like their expectations were not met around the wedding, but all of yours were met, would it make you feel like it was less successful? I definitely would feel like it was less successful.
Yeah.
An experience that's shared between the two of us, if one person feels like they're shortchanged, that would feel bad. But I would prefer, like, we discuss the expectations, we have a plan to meet everyone, as opposed to you telling me this after the fact.
After the wedding.
What am I gonna do?
Yeah, like there's nothing we can do now.
I feel bad now, but there's nothing we can do.
Why
It's
didn't you
done.
speak up? Why
Yeah.
didn't you communicate when you felt like there was a line being
That would be
crossed?
frustrating.
Yeah.
That
Like,
would be definitely
up.
frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would feel bad about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
I think
You wouldn't?
Feel free, Claire. Feel free.
Claire, it's like, too bad your expectations were not met. Tough
Bye.
luck.
We're here now.
No, the reason I'm laughing is because I personally think that one, expectations can be selfish. Expectations, because you see, you're expecting another person to go through. Actually, this is something that my Uncle Charles told me, which I sat down and I thought about it. And I'm like, expectations, selfish, what do you mean? But I'm doing this for the betterment of our relationship. I'm doing this so that I can be able to communicate with you. I'm doing this so that you can treat me a certain type of way and our relationship would be perfect. But when I sat down and I thought about it, I was like, you know what? He could be right, because it's something I want my significant other to do, act, say, think, and, feel.
Yeah.
And so for me, as you're saying, expectations should be communicated. But it's also okay, which I've had to learn the difficult way, if these said expectations are not met. And if they're not met, then does that take away the whole beauty of the event, And it shouldn't. Is it okay for you to feel bad about the expectation not being met? Then fine, feel bad about it and communicate. I did tell you to do this and do that, and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But it should not take away from the event. And that's it. Yeah.
Fair point. D.
Yeah. Wait, I think that's D.
That was D?
That was D?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
D.
Yeah.
Cool. All
We
right.
made it.
How old were you when you first daydreamed about your wedding? 0 years old, never. Did anyone have to talk to you directly about a wedding for you to think about it, or was it innate?
Wow.
Ladies.
Well,
My experience
For
is
you,
so...
Lydia.
I could go first.
Yes,
I
please.
think I have an idea. So, my mom, for about 2 years, it was just me and my mom. So my biological father was never in the picture. So when my mom met Tom, who was my stepdad, who, then adopted me and we became a family, and he's been my father throughout my life. They had a wedding, but they were it was very simple. I was not invited to the wedding.
Oh, interesting.
So they said no kids, and it was a maximum of 20 people.
How old were you?
I was 2.
Okay.
Because he first came into my life when I was 1.
Okay.
And a year later he proposed, and it was chop, let's get married. So I knew there was something going on. First of all, when you're that young, you can't comprehend
understand,
like
yeah.
the weight of what's happening. I just knew that it moved from him being on the phone a lot to him coming and moving here. And then eventually we did move with him to Amsterdam. But my mom did not wear a white dress. She wore a pantsuit, a brown pantsuit.
Hello.
Love it.
And I see the pictures, and they went to 14 Faults because I grew up in Thika.
Yeah.
Wow.
And all her bridesmaids wore their own clothes just in maroon.
That is so interesting.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't
I love
have
that.
a chama. They didn't have planning for months. He was a very straightforward guy. Let's get this done. Bring people together. Let's have a meal. Let's honor who we need to honor. And let's get on with our lives. So already with that, I do not have pictures of my mom walking down an aisle in a white dress,
Right.
or me being a flower girl. But I do have experiences of that with my aunties,
Right.
where, there was all of that. So I think for me, already from that, I was shown the possibility of a wedding being anything you want it to be. And so it was never it has to be a white wedding. It would be at that moment when it arrives, I want to really go into myself and into my person and see what do we want this day to look like
Yeah.
for us.
That's nice.
Because the success
that.
of our marriage or the failure of it is not determined on the grandness
day.
of the day.
Yeah.
What matters and what they showed me with the process they did or went through is that you need to honor the right people.
Yeah.
You know, it's a family thing,
Yeah.
like you said.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be what we've been conditioned for, to think that a wedding is.
Yeah.
And he did, as much as he was a Dutch man, he did do every traditional requirement he needed to do. He took the goods to Kitui. He did everything. And he asked for a list. Send me a list of what I'm required to do. And he honored that. So the biggest thing I got from that was the intention for them wanting to honor the process, but still having it look how they wanted it
to
to
look
be.
like.
Right.
Yeah.
So have I thought about? Sorry, honey.
No.
What about?
I just like thinking of
Your answer, yeah.
You're thinking, yeah.
So have I thought about walking down the aisle in a white dress? Yes, but I think that came way later, around my 20s. But even then, I would have the questions of, and if I like beige on that day, why not
So you'll wear
beige?
Your picture is different. Your picture is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah, so that's my answer.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I guess my whole thing with weddings is also conditioned because my parents separated when I was 9 years old, right? So before then, like, what do I even know? What do I even remember? So I know there was a wedding and there was a marriage and now it's not here anymore. So the romance everyone else gets around weddings and marriage, that was out of the window for me for a long time. And I actually think, I heard someone say that trauma removes you of the gift of imagination, right? So you just don't think beyond what you've seen
What you've
yourself,
seen.
right? So I don't think I've ever had this kind of romance thing going on with weddings because I know, like, this happened, people are supposed to be together forever, but my example was they weren't.
hasn't.
And then the next, there was a wedding where I was a flower girl in like a few weddings when I was like around that age, but it's like it was also within this context of my parents have separated, so it's just like I'm just going to see the ceremony because the romance and the story that comes with that for me was cut short very early on. So I don't remember daydreaming about weddings or anything like that in most of my childhood. In fact, even now when I think about the wedding, as I said, is about the feeling, that moment, but not really like, oh, my wedding is going to be like this and like that. And I think that might be the reason why yours is different for these amazing positive reasons. Is also why mine is kind of has been stifled a bit. That imagination has been stifled a bit because of, coming from a place where the marriage did fall apart quite early on in my childhood.
I have a question. Did that make you feel almost maybe scared or rethink if marriage is something you wanted because you saw the bad side of it?
Right. So funny enough, what it's made me is very conscious and intentional about who I end up with. That is something which is like top of the list. Like, I think about things in a very different way. I feel like there are many times where I just said, yes, we just, but it's just too important to me because who I end up with because of what I've seen. So that's the way that it's changed it. So it hasn't made me not want to be married because I feel like, especially in having children, I would love to have children in the context of marriage. So it hasn't made me not want that, and because I did have that in part of my life, I would want my kids to have that. But I'm very, I would say diligent. Diligent. About who I end up with. So that's really the part of it. Also, what it's made me do is see divorce in a very different way. So I've seen divorce of like, you won't die. So it's like,
it's not the end of the world.
Yes, the quality of the marriage is really important. Because I know life after divorce, and especially for my mom, it's become kind of a fairy tale. So I see that there's life after divorce. So it's also okay if it does end.
If it doesn't work out.
The question was, at what age?
Yes. How old were you when you first envisioned, daydreamed about your wedding? Did anyone have to talk to you directly about a wedding for you to think about it or was it innate?
I don't think also I had pictured. I think just like Lydia, for me I was more concerned about who I will get married to. I was really just obsessed about the marriage. I really the day, like, if even like I think our wedding day it rained and everyone was freaking out, and I was like, as long as Ben is cool, as long as Ben shows up, like the rest are just details. So I think who actually made me think about my wedding and got me involved was actually, I think, a therapist, because that's when I started therapy.
Right.
Because I've said
Before
this before
the
the
wedding?
podcast. Yeah. Because we got engaged and everyone in the family was asking me to commit to a date of when the wedding would be. But I just couldn't give them a date. And so I said, okay, if I can't, because the problem is not the guy. I'm sure about the guy. But I can't seem to commit to a date. And I'm sure I want this guy, because I said yes. And I meant that yes. So what could be the problem? So once we started to unpack that, I think she helped me now start to sit in the moment of like, you're going to have a wedding. It's going to be a beautiful day. So why don't you start now being like, allowing yourself to get involved in the process.
Why were you scared of committing to the date?
It was just uncertainty. Like everything it was just so foreign. Like, what are we doing here? Like, who put me up to this? Like, why do you guys think I'm too mature to handle like a home? like come on, guys, like me. So I needed to unpack that.
I love that you went to therapy.
Yeah.
I can imagine. As you can imagine, my heart is just I love that because I feel like to prepare yourself for marriage, it's amazing to know more about yourself.
And no one prepares you for it. And that was over and above marriage counseling.
It was above the premarital that you do in church. So nobody can prepare you for marriage, but I think I started to prepare myself to be Wanjiru as a wife, as a partner.
That is so beautiful.
Very intentional.
For you,
doubts are very normal. Right before the wedding. Completely normal.
Crazy.
For me, I didn't have any daydreams about my wedding from the time I was small. I did also wear the little stockings that had the little frere. The ones that everybody used to wear when you are, what is it called? A bridesmaid, a flower girl.
The ones that
have like, why do they have collars? Why did they have collars? And then
was so cute.
I don't know about cute. I was a flower girl in a lot of weddings, but I didn't really think about the whole wedding thing as this beautiful thing. I just remember being very excited about walking down the aisle with my sister.
Why do you think that is? Is there anything you can see in your life that might contribute to why you didn't have any kind of visions or anything like that? I know that you have to, but I'm just saying,
in terms of the wedding?
like, because you're saying throughout you've never thought of it. Is there anything you think might have contributed to you not seeing or having any of those visions?
I actually don't know. Maybe I need to think about it a bit more because I don't know. I just didn't. I didn't think about the wedding. Actually, when I did start thinking about the wedding, because about a wedding, was I got pregnant at 21 years old. And so because of the fact that there was now a child involved, we then sought to build this relationship. And then the talks of marriage came about, and it was like, oh my gosh. And because you see, I've come from a very stable background. My mom and my dad have been together for 30 plus years,
unit,
right? But it still wasn't like a thing. Like it just wasn't a thing I ever thought about. So after now, when I got pregnant, my mom started asking, what are your plans? What do you see with this person? Do you think that you can, before
you
then?
didn't want marriage? No.
I did want kids.
Okay.
And I did want kids in the construct of marriage.
Right.
But here I am at 21
with a
child. I'm pregnant with a kid on the way.
Yeah.
And so what's the next topic? It's going to be marriage.
It's true.
Yeah.
Do we think it's problematic? And I feel like people fall one way. There's the people who have kids because they're married, and there's the people who get married to have kids.
Yeah.
Guess which one I am?
Get married to have kids.
I don't know. I think I swing both ways. Like if the baby comes, like ideally I would want like get married, get kids, but I swing both ways. Like if it comes, like let's go for it.
I think I'll have kids. I'm married, then we'll have. I'm having kids because I'm married.
I'm having kids?
As in the marriage, like that's your center.
Oh, your question was like we get married because we have kids,
Yeah, it's
because we got pregnant.
No.
Could you ask the question again?
Okay, let me
Yeah.
ask the question. So I'm saying people fall usually on one side, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people who the marriage is the center. And then they're having kids because they're in this marriage and it's wonderful. But then there's some people who are more focused on the kids. Like, I am getting married because I want my kids to come in the environment of a marriage.
I think for me it's the marriage.
The marriage, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
to your
you was
question,
the
it's the
kid.
marriage. You,
I
Claire?
just got pregnant. I didn't really think about it. It just happened. It was like, oops, okay, here we go. I'm pregnant.
Here we go.
For you, Coco?
Yeah.
I keep on thinking about this instance, and it's one that excites me every time I think about it. And every time I see a man do it, I'm just like, wow. It's when a child falls out of line and talks anyhow to the mother, and the
then
husband
the-
comes and says, do not speak to my
Oh,
wife
like
like
this
that.
TikTok
Who
video.
do you
My
think you
wife,
are
yeah.
speaking
Yeah,
to
that's
my
my
wife
wife.
like that? So at that point, the
cute.
child is very confused because he's like, your wife, my mom,
My mom?
your what?
Yeah.
And for the first time, the kid sees that, by the way, she's his wife.
Yeah.
She's more than just
Before.
your mom.
She's your mom.
Yeah.
So if you dare fall out of line,
Yeah.
we're gonna have
Bye.
a problem.
Yeah.
So for me, of course, I would love to have the marriage as a center, and then have the kids come in a family, a marriage union, because also guys, I have seen women I love feel, stay in relationships because of the kids, and the guy fails to commit. 10 years they're still together, 15 years they're still together,
Commit in terms of like marriage?
even engagement. And it breaks my heart because I'm like, I feel like all these years he's never committed to you. He's probably still here because of the kids. What happens to the commitment to you? You're practically still his girlfriend. Yeah. And I'm just like, I would never want to be in that situation where and then I'm forced to stay here because there's a kid. But at the same time, if the kid comes, I would still keep it, with or without the father, of course. And then we would figure things out from there. But I've just really had my heart break whenever I see people close to me who they feel like they kind of settled because the kid came.
Right.
And they wanted that commitment.
And they
of
wanted
marriage.
that commitment. And
it never
it doesn't come.
Claire, you look like you want to say something.
No, I don't want to say
okay.
anything. Because that's a whole other topic. We're talking
Yeah.
about marriage, about staying, about sitting in this situation because of the fact that, and I mean, there are a lot of people who are unhappy in their marriages as well.
Yeah.
And I was one of those statistics where I did choose to go that path because of the fact that kids were
Involved. Yeah.
And to be honest, I always feel like it makes sense to me why anybody would do that.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
really does. And especially you
Yeah.
coming from a place where
The-
you grew up in like this, my parents are together.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
stable
Would
unit.
love to do that.
That's the only thing that I wanted.
Yeah.
I wanted a family unit, but then I further realized that I'm not able to be a good mother to my children because of the situation
This
that
relationship
I'm in.
now.
So I'm like, so do I stay or do I leave? And
Yeah.
I chose to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Brave of you.
But by the time it gets there, I guess what I can tell you is just give grace to your friends, because it takes time before they get to the point where they actually decide that they're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's almost like it's being in an abusive environment. So in their minds, they've convinced themselves that they need to stay because of the kids, and it's never worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm not telling you guys to leave your marriages. I'm not telling you guys to leave it. Please don't.
But yeah.
just go for therapy.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
Lydia would put it. Yeah.
All right, pass me the jar. I think I'm up next.
Did you answer the question?
You did. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
Are you guys enjoying? See?
Yes.
The
Oh my
questions are fun,
gosh.
right? All right.
And I didn't know I had so much to say about this.
I know.
Here I am.
All right. Okay. What feeling do you get when you think of yourself as a bride in that wedding dress?
Guy.
I actually have a vision. Have you guys watched Monster in Law?
Yeah,
Yes,
the one with
we
J-Lo.
have.
Yeah, J-Lo.
That dress
Yeah.
you wore, it was so plain and so simple. It was just here. Is it a sweetheart? You can tell us. You can tell us, girl.
Yeah, it's like, yeah.
Yeah, here it's like sweetheart, and it's just plain and simple, and she looked beautiful. I had never envisioned anything as far as what dress will I wear until
You saw
and
that?
I was like,
Yeah.
that's it, simple.
Yeah.
You know, your hair's back, it's just your face. When I think about it, I feel it's more about the guy, as I keep saying. So I mostly feel in love, and I feel very still. I feel very present in that moment. I don't feel rushed or scared or worried. I know you're going to say expectation, but reality. But in my mind, that's what I imagine, to just be very still, to just be like, this is a beautiful day to celebrate. No stress whatsoever.
Coco?
I want to wear my curls out on my wedding.
Good.
And you have such
And you
beautiful
should.
curls.
And
Yeah.
you
I think
should.
the more who you are, the better.
Yeah. Like, I want to be as comfortable as possible. I have nothing against, because it really used to stress me out when I used to see a lot of the brides in wigs, and I was like, sasa nitaanza wapi na hiyo? I don't know how I look in a wig, and then you have to put the long nails, and I was like, what if I'm comfortable in
With
just
short
my
nails?
nails? Can I do that?
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
You know, like, so
Are you
there was
realizing
so
how
much-
we've been conditioned to think like a wedding should be?
I was just like,
And I
that's
am
not
disagreeing.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which is funny, I say this because now I'm battling in between like text laxing in my head, because I'm just like, I don't want to live my life not knowing how it'd look if my hair was straight.
Yeah.
But on that day, I actually want to wear my curls out and just be comfortable. But at the same time, I want it to be a party.
Yeah.
Like, I envision everyone dancing and singing. A lot of R&B songs.
Oh yeah, for sure.
A lot of food, good food.
Can you stand the rain?
Can you stand the rain? A lot of tears, because I'm a crier. I literally have my tears here. Ask anyone. They'll tell you.
Yeah.
A lot of crying, but a lot of love, and seeing myself as a bride on that day. I imagine walking towards the rest of my life.
And
Oh,
That's so
cute.
beautiful.
yeah,
Oh,
in
that's so
love.
cute.
And
Yeah.
feeling like all the shit you've been through. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Go for it.
It was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it.
Praise the Lord.
All the
We
frogs.
came, like someone said, we cry when we're walking down the aisle because you just imagine the battle, strongest soldiers of God.
And we're here at the end.
You are here now. Congratulations. Praise be.
Amen.
After all sorrows,
Yeah.
sorrows, prayers.
I know sorrows. What if I told you that that's when the work begins? Like begins,
Begins, right?
Yeah. Like once you walk down that aisle, that's when the work starts.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Those in that one day.
Like you just want nothing.
La 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 la.
Oh,
I
It's
am
just about having.
I know.
at least we figured out the who.
Yeah.
Now it's the work.
It's the,
Yeah.
it's the
At
work.
this point,
Yeah.
it's the who and the work.
Yeah.
Right? At least one is solved. You're right.
Oh, so it's now, at least it's the how at that
the
point.
I think for me, sorry. Do you want to
No, go. What feeling do you get?
The feeling that I wanted, because our initial wedding plans were go to the AG, book. I hope that's okay if I can say it. Book an Airbnb somewhere, big house with close friends and families, and then just party.
Have
like
fun.
that was supposed to. That was my ideal wedding.
Yeah.
But now that the idea of having a white wedding has had to sit in my mind,
Yeah.
what I envision, which is something that I've been really struggling with because of what I want. I want to be I love black, clearly. Black is like my favorite color.
And gold.
And black. So
Okay.
I really do want a black wedding dress. Like I want a black wedding dress, and I have been struggling to find. If you're a vendor with black
That
wedding
is
dresses,
I can hook them up. The one
yeah,
you did
please
mine.
do, because
Okay.
I go somewhere and I'm like, "Do you have black wedding dresses?" And they're like, "No, sorry, we don't." But then now the
Whoa.
conversations we've been having about black wedding dresses
Yeah.
is, "Are you sure?" With my aunties, "Ukona hakika?"
You are mourning before
They
you
will
do the
pray
things.
for you, because it's like,
Yeah.
why
Duh.
are you
Yeah.
a witch?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But I envision me in my black dress, walking down the aisle.
Is it lace?
It's gonna have a little bit of lace. And then everybody else, the whole congregation is in white. Because for me, yeah, because
Okay, can I
for
get
me-
invited?
I know. Yes, you will be. Because for me, everybody else is the most. Everybody who's in my life right now has played such a significant role to making me the woman that I am. And because of my story, which is being pregnant at 21 and, making the choices that I made, I want to sort of be like the black swan, so to speak, where everybody else is a light to my life. So that's how I envision
I
it.
love that.
Yeah, thank
You should watch
That's
there's
so
a show on
beautiful.
Netflix called Selling Sunset.
Right.
And
Yeah.
Christine, she
She got married in a black dress.
I'll
I
watch it.
remember that.
It's
Yeah.
it's
It looked gorgeous.
okay. I
Yeah,
will.
I'm sure even if you Google Christine from Selling Sunset's wedding, you find it. And no, it was stunning.
Okay.
Yeah, I support this.
Thank you.
I support
Thank you
this.
so
Wait,
much.
all
100%.
vendors are saying
Thank
like
you.
black dresses.
So there is two that's told me that they have, but then the options that they have are
You're not feeling them.
They're good. They're good. It's just that I've only seen two, and I did ask them if they have more, and they said they do. I just haven't followed up with
Okay.
it, but I will
Right.
keep
Alright.
looking. Yeah.
I'm
The
down for that.
Thank you.
the feeling I got is I wanted to be comfortable. Like aside from the feeling of like the beauty of the day,
Right.
there is a lot of running around you do as a
Yeah.
bride. Like you're just
day.
it was a lot. So I
Yeah.
remember I just wanted to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And I wanted like an element. I have this thing where I usually feel like, especially with my family, I'm usually just like a rebel without a cause. So I was just like, with this wedding, I want a high slit. And so
Ooh,
I won't do
get
it. I
it.
won't, Mom, I won't flash my thighs in front of your guests, but I'll get my slit. So that when I'm doing my pictures, I can have my
Right.
slit moment.
Yeah.
And so that's what I got.
You
So
look
I just
beautiful.
wanted to
You
be
look
comfortable.
very
Yeah.
beautiful.
That
Yeah.
is beautiful.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys. Do you think wedding dresses ought to be cheaper?
They ought to be cheaper.
Wedding
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Dresses.
Oh, dresses.
You wear
Yeah.
them for one day.
Yeah. Like they can
Well,
run
I
you to
don't
like
think
hundreds
so.
of thousands.
You wear them for one
But
day.
you wear it for that day.
But for one day, hundreds of thousands.
Okay,
For
that
what?
is that your budget?
But that's what they normally cost, because it's like what there's some that are even close to 200K.
Yeah, but it's
Like,
because it's how important it is. It's really, really important. So people are willing to invest. Did you not buy one?
I bought one and then like it's just sitting in my parents' house. Like I've never done anything with it.
yeah.
Exactly.
But then guess what? You can maybe
Make
give it
one.
to your daughter or
Yeah.
something, or do you want to hire though?
I don't know. That's too much work.
The
Like
hire?
like the process of hiring, like coordinating, hiring. Ugh.
cleaning.
And also, do you
meaning.
want to wear a dress that's just
Somebody
like
else has
or
been worn.
everyone else? I feel like it's
Someone
important
else who
enough.
For that exclusivity.
yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like it's an important dress.
Personally, I think they're overcharged.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just
They're like,
I was gonna ask. I've really
like,
never.
am I going to do that, or am I going to pay rent for my month? Am I going to pay school fees? It's one
Listen,
day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
when it's my turn, I'm sure I'll feel different.
Yeah.
But for now, I'm just
You feel like
But
yeah.
you're fine.
yeah. When I get there and they tell me the zeros, I'll remember this conversation.
What's the range of the price? I've never really looked into how much wedding dresses cost.
I did a bridal shoot, and from when I was talking about it, I feel like anything that's below 100,000 is like a steal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. That's
Yeah.
It's like a
factual.
steal.
That's
Yes.
factual. Do they make? Were they making the dresses, or they bring them in?
I
Are
think they
custom?
bring them,
Okay.
and then they can maybe custom
To
onto
your-
you or to whatever it is
yeah.
that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's usually like in the hundreds of thousands, like a really good dress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. That's
and that's just a dress.
That's just a dress.
And that's just
No one has
dress.
eaten.
And that's one
Oh.
dress. And that's one dress. So if you're wearing
Woo, there's decor.
Yeah, because you're not
if you're
gonna
wearing
wear.
two,
Yeah.
if you're wearing an after party,
Girl 3
so
for the wedding for the
you need
big
the
ass
reception
train.
and the after party.
Yeah. And then you haven't even counted your jewelry.
So 3 people are coming to my wedding.
Like,
Just
hello.
All the
Oh
best.
my God.
All the
You
best.
You
Now had to
have
jolly
some
be at
plans.
10.
All the best, Lydia. Oh,
You
gosh.
go next, Coco.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
It gets really expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't miss that cost thing. Ew.